How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about some more fake news from CNN. Now, I know it's kind of a meme at this point. It's like beating the dead horse, but this piece of fake news right here pretty much tops them all. If it's not the worst, if it's not the most egregious, is right up there with them. And shout out to my friend Candace Owens for bringing this to my attention. Now, before we get into the video, I need to kind of tee it up for you so you understand what's going on. Now, Trump had a meeting with some evangelicals at the White House, and there was a transcript produced. In this transcript, he was talking about how Antifa is going to be very violent and they're going to try to oppose whatever the Republicans have done. And it's going to be really intense right around election time coming up because you got a lot of very important races. So we need to focus on trying to keep House, Senate, all of that intact. Now, Jeffrey Toobin, a lawyer, decided to give his 2 cents about that particular remark. So watch this video. You'll see his remarks. After we get done with the video, I'll come back and give you my 2 cents about what he said and about what Trump said, the real story, rather than the fake story that CNN gave you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Let's be clear also about what's going on here. The theme here is, I'm Donald Trump, and I'll protect you from the scary black people. Antifa is widely perceived as an African-American organization, and this is just part of the same story of LeBron James and Don Lemon and Maxine Waters and the NFL players and the UCLA basketball players. This is about black versus white. This is about Donald Trump's appeal to racism, and it just happens all the time, and we never say it, or we don't say it enough for what it is, but that's what's going on.
Well, what do you think, Ron?
I don't know, Ron. I'm thinking it's just black people and brown people. I think that's what it's about, and yours is a very sophisticated analysis, but I think it's just as ugly as it can be, and let's not forget, Donald Trump became a politician by making up a racist lie about the first African-American president.
But if you...
All right, so you see what's happening. You see what's going on there. Now, that was really egregious. Jeffrey Toobin, have you ever stepped outside of CNN? Have you ever looked at what's happening in the country? Anytime Antifa gets mentioned, anytime they show themselves, they're like a 90-95% white group. That's what they are. There is a black group that's similar to Antifa in their methods and their actual in game. That's called Black Lives Matter. I've not really seen them be as active lately. They were active like 2015, 2016, right around then. Not so much anymore, but they are the black equivalent to Antifa if there is one. Antifa is a largely white group. Now, maybe Jeffrey Toobin, you heard them say things like Black Lives Matter, all this, that, and the third, but what you fail to realize is who's actually saying it. It's not black people. This is a mostly white group. Everybody knows that. This is like the resurgence of the KKK. This is not something that can even really be debated. Anytime you see these people, I was speaking about Candace earlier when she was having breakfast with Turning Point, Charlie Kirk, and some other people. They came and pretty much attacked them verbally, throwing water or whatever. You had a mostly black and Hispanic police force, and you had Antifa out there talking about racist cops, KKK, all this, that, and the third. They are Sean King times 1 million, basically. They have this whole thing about they want to protect so-called people of color. They want to be their defenders, all this and that. Really, all they are is enablers and destructors. They are not doing anything that's going to be constructive in society. And then the guy Toobin was talking about, this is just another extension of talking about LeBron James, Maxine Waters, the basketball players. Maybe I heard that wrong. The UCLA guys, he was trying to get them out of a Chinese jail. He came to their defense. Now, some would say, there was already a deal worked out before Trump got involved. Well, if he was truly a racist, if he was truly a guy that hated black people, he would not come to the aid at all. He would say, leave him there. Matter of fact, he would just nix the deal. He'd be like, you know what? You got these guys coming from the United States to China or disrespecting their home country. Xi Jinping is my friend or whatever the case may be. Let them right there in China. Don't bring them back home. Keep them right there. That's what he would have done. or he would have stayed out of it rather than trying to get them back. He just happened to be in China at the time and saw some guys were being held on some shoplifting stuff that were Americans. And he says, okay, let's see if we can bring them back. So if he was truly a racist, like I said, he wouldn't have done that, but he did. So how are you going to attribute that to him being racist? It does not make sense. But you know what? CNN, Antifa, all these crazy lefties, they don't make any sense. This is the kind of thing that they talk about all the time. And I'm sitting here wondering, where are they getting this from? Who's believing this? But you know what? When I was on the left, I would have believed that, because when you are deep into a certain ideology and you're not willing to hear ideas from both sides or all sides, you're going to believe whatever the leftist media tells you. CNN is dangerous because, like I said in many videos before, they get translated into many different languages. This guy Toobin is not just speaking to people in nursing homes, car dealerships, or whatever. This guy speaking to the entire world in many different languages by appearing on CNN. And if you don't understand the context of what's happening, if you don't understand the reality of what's going on, then you believe him. You would think that Antifa is a black organization. Nobody has ever said on TV, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, send me some videos in the comments below. I'd love to see it. But I've never seen anybody describe Antifa as a black organization. Like I said, maybe they talk about Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. That does not make them black. Just because you want to be a proponent of so-called black rights does not make you black. Okay, Sean King, Richard Dolezal, these are white people that just go out there and cosplay. They go out there and LARP, live action role play as black people. They are not black. Antifa go out there, cosplay, live action role play as the defenders of truth, defenders of the minority, but they are not. They're just a bunch of white liberals with too much money, too much time on their hands, a big chip on their shoulder, an axe to grind, a point to prove, weaklings, cowards that all attack as one individual group. They are not Batman. Shout out to my man in the debate. They are not Batman. They are not Superman. They're not any of those things. They are a parasitic force upon the United States, which should be just eliminated. I'm not trying to threaten anybody. I'm just saying, if you have certain gang task force who have the job of being able to eliminate gangs, to disrupt them, to bring peace to a place, I think that same gang task force that's used in the inner city with the violence and the drugs should also be used when you're talking about Antifa, because they bring a high level of violence many times to these so-called inner city places that they purport themselves to be defending. So what do you think? Do you think Jeffrey Toobin has been just kind of in a weird bubble? How do you not know that Antifa is largely white? I just want to know that. That's my question I would have to Toobin if you're watching. How do you not know that? I mean, do you watch TV? You are a political pundit who appears on CNN many times. I've seen you before, sir. It's not your first go around. I understand your whole shtick is being an anti-Trumper, a Trump hater. You know, that's your whole thing. I get it, but at least be truthful, or a little bit truthful. Okay, I understand you want to talk about Trump in a negative way, and at a certain point, you got to be, you know, saying things in an exaggerated fashion, but don't just lie like that. Don't just come out and say that the sky is green when the sky is blue. Don't lie about an obvious thing like Antifa. Antifa is not a black organization, nor does it have a really sizable black population. It is an overwhelmingly white group. That is the truth. Everybody knows that. That is not up for debate. If you can find me videos of a bunch of black folks calling themselves Antifa, I'd love to see it. Like I said before, the black equivalent to Antifa, if there is one, is Black Lives Matter, and they've not really been as active lately as far as being on television and stuff like that, causing the ruckus. All right. Just because they talk about black issues, Antifa does not make them black. But do you think that Toobin is right? Do you think that Antifa is a black organization? If you can prove that to me, I'd love to see some videos, some reports, something in the comments. Prove me wrong. I doubt you'd be able to do it, but I'd love to see it. And whatever other comments you have, Please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.